And we also had earlier some reactions from our correspondents in Jerusalem.
The rhythm of the Iranian retaliations is definitely intensifying. They're now really sirens after more or less of some sort of a break in the middle of the day. Now, as evening approaches, it's really every few minutes, and the barrages are a little bit larger. So instead of just one missile or three, a few more. So far, Israeli air defenses have succeeded in blocking these missiles, and also a drone that infiltrated into Israel via the Dead Sea area. But I do have some news that there has been the first casualties in Israel. A building in a town adjacent to Tel Aviv, in the town of Bnei Brak, was hit apparently by shards from one of the Israeli interceptor missiles. I'm not sure the distinction is significant for those who were hurt, but there are a number of people wounded, some severely, including a very young girl. So that is the latest out of Israel, and still really no declarations in Israel from the prime minister, the minister of defense, nothing really significant, even from the army, apart from the sort of drone all day long of instructions about remaining near bomb shelters or inside bomb shelters, drinking water and that sort of thing. But we have not heard a real, I would say, clear statement about the anticipated length of this war for Israelis, the hoped for results. It has all remained in this realm of kind of vague pronouncements that we heard from the prime minister in a video announcement early this morning, which simply echoed President Trump's statement about the hope to topple the Iranian regime.
So, what are the Israeli state of mind? I mean, the war. We're just coming out from a war that dragged on since following the aftermath of the October 7 attack. So, I hear there might be some protests.
Well, it's absolutely true. And I in fact, had some doubts when I heard Prime Minister Netanyahu's statement this morning, basically telling Israelis that they were going to have to risk their homes and their lives and their livelihoods in order to free the people of Iran. Of course, all of this based on an understanding that is widely shared in Israel among Israelis, which is that Iran, certainly an Iran with nuclear ambitions, poses an existential threat to Israel. And it's unclear yet. You know, it's been a very quiet Saturday here because everybody's plans were absolutely torn up at 8 in the morning when the first sirens sounded. People have by and large remained in their homes or in their shelters the whole day. There have been comments from the opposition, from the political opposition in Israel, pointing out that, as in the United States, the procedure ahead of this operation or war, whatever it will be, Israel is calling it Roaring Lion, were absolutely improper, that there was not a cabinet vote, that there hasn't been a discussion in parliament. All of these norms that have more or less been torn up and shredded by the current government were not observed. But among Israelis, who we don't yet know how they will react to this particular operation, there is a widespread understanding that Iran poses a direct threat to Israel.
Any reactions from the opposition?
Yes, there have been reactions from the opposition, including, for example, Labour Party parliamentarian Naama Lazimi, who pointed out what I just said to you, that the procedures ahead of this operation and the even announcements made to the Israeli people were completely inappropriate, improper, and misleading. Israelis, by the way, for the last few weeks have been told in one way or another to expect repercussions against them from a U.S. strike. What was anticipated was that the United States would strike Iran, that it had set all of these assets in motion here in the region, and that Israel would then get the reverberations of such an attack. The surprising part of what happened today is that Israelis awoke to hearing that its own Air Force, that the Israeli Air Force had attacked, even before hearing that, in fact, it was a joint U.S.-Israeli attack. More than 100,000 Israeli reserve soldiers have already been called up, not just for air defenses, but also to guard the borders with Lebanon. where Hezbollah appears not yet to have decided how to respond to this attack against its sponsor to Syria. So I do think it's too early to know exactly how Israelis will respond, but you're right to ask because there is a generalized exhaustion from war in this country.